Hello everyone, welcome to Canteen Cup. My name is Scott, and today I'm out checking out my just cleared land to see how dry it is. It dries out pretty quick, but I need it to be a little bit dry when I bring the tractor over it so that we don't dig up any more of the topsoil than we already have. We don't have that much, but in general things are looking good. Maybe by this weekend I'll be able to get back out here and start working. I can tell I need to rake it a few more times, but it looks pretty good. Got a lot of trees that need to be cut up and burned, but such is life. What's going on in the world today? Well, you know, we've got the coronavirus, which I'm rather ambivalent about it because so far it does not affect me, probably will not affect me, mainly because of what I do and where I live. There's no cases nearby, so I don't watch it a whole lot. I think once or twice a day I'll see what the virus tracking is, but I don't fret over it. I'm not concerned over it. I did buy an extra bottle or two of NyQuil, and I bought an extra box or two of Alka-Seltzer, and that's about it. So enough about that. One of the things I wanted to talk about today, excuse me for looking down, but I still got a lot of roots, and I still need to do some more landscaping type work to the property. But I wanted to talk about community, and you know, I want to talk about maybe hidden community, and the reason why I say hidden community is sometimes we don't know the community we have. You know, we see a lot of people who write a lot of books and say a lot of stuff about mutual assistance groups, about crews and, you know, teams and all this, and you know, a lot of your community is right in your own backyard, so to speak. And I'm going to give you an example. 2 days ago, during church on Sunday, my wife had a medical incident, and yes, she's okay, but she had enough of an incident where we had to get people involved. And right there in my congregation, the pastor, we call him a bishop, is a doctor. Now in my church we have what's called a lay clergy. In other words, we're all volunteers, nobody gets paid. And he was right there. I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, could you help me out? And he did. And so what happened then is my daughter-in-law, who's a physician's assistant, and my son helped me get my wife out to the car, and she walked on her own 2 feet, and I took her home. And later on, she still didn't feel well, so I took her to the emergency room. I called my son and daughter-in-law up, and they drove to the emergency room to help. And really the main form of help was to do some translating, you know, from what I say into doctor talk. That's what I like to call it anyhow. And while we were there, my daughter-in-law met the attending physician's assistant, and they were buddies, and so they got to chatting, and it helped a whole lot. In the meantime, I had a lot of people sending us text messages wanting to know if everything was okay, wishing my wife well, offering assistance. And within a couple hours, we had people from all over the country, friends from all over the country, sending texts. So when you look at your community, you don't have to look far. I don't need to have a separate mag or a separate crew or a separate. I've got my community in my church. I've got my friends and my family in my church. So, do I have to look any further? Well, maybe a little bit. But look at my community here. I know more people on my current street than I have probably ever known in any other place I've lived. And I live further apart than most of the places I've lived. There's one or two other places where I live further apart, but in general, and we all talk to each other, we all stop, and we're all here to help each other. So I guess it becomes, I think a lot of people feel like they have to have a set specific mag team with leadership and all this other stuff. But look around and see what you have in front of you. Like I said, my church community, my neighborhood community, man, I've got lots of friends, lots of support. I'm not sure I need any more. People that live out where I live, we're all very like-minded. We're not afraid of protecting and defending what's ours. A lot of members of church feel the same way. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't reinvent the wheel when you talk about your community, your teams, your men. Look around you. I mean, does it look like a Special Forces A team or B team? Probably not. But are they there to help you get through? And will they probably help you get through? Yes. And will you probably succeed? Yes. So, take the opportunity to know your neighbors. Don't worry about traveling hours and hours. Worry about walking a couple minutes or driving just a couple minutes. One of the things that I do is, if I am driving down my road and I see one of my neighbors, I'll stop and chat with them. And sometimes it's just for 2 minutes, sometimes it's for 10 or 15, but I'll stop and chat, and we'll have a conversation, and we'll pass information back and forth, about what's going on in the neighborhood, what's going on his farm or his property, what's going on my farm or property. So we're always having those communication linkages, and we know what's going on. I can tell you who the good eggs are and who the bad eggs are in my neighborhood. Luckily, far more good eggs than bad eggs. But I only learn that stuff because I get out and I talk. And I'm not a talker. I'm an introverted kind of person. So it's a little bit of an effort for me. But you do what you gotta do. So I guess my advice is, before you go all cattywampus, looking for something that may or may not be there, look what you have around you first. Look at your neighbors, look at your church community. Talk with them, find out what's going on with them. Get involved a little bit. Having that, my wife having her, medical episode really opened my eyes that I didn't have to look as far as I thought I had to look. That everything I need is already right here. And I just need to spend a little more time cultivating what I have here instead of trying to look somewhere else. So that's all I wanted to say. Just a quick little chat and sign in, and hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying safe. And that being said, also stay secure, and we'll see you out there.